watching Cartell TV and I'm Amelia. Now before we go any further, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to our channel. 68 kilowatts and 95 newton meters more performance, but for the same price. That's it, I'm done with the review. Not really, but that is the main point of difference for the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe 3.5 litre V6 petrol. Don't worry, I still have plenty more to talk about with this Santa Fe, and depending on what you're after, the extra oomph might not even be what you find most appealing. But what I am sure about is that the Santa Fe, one of the most popular SUVs of this size on this planet, is back, and it has improved on the already remarkable list of positives. The car we have here today is a 3.5 litre petrol version, front wheel drive only, it has 7 seats and it's the middle trim. It's called the Elite. Now we've had this SUV for a week, and as much as we love our Hyundais here at Cartell, this particular one has been a bit of a bag of mixed feelings for me. Let's find out why. In terms of design, gone are the days when Hyundai made cars that looked more boring than anything except Toyotas of the same era. And I know we keep saying it, but the recent Hyundai designs just look really good. They have their own style direction, and it works. So, that design direction I'm talking about is obvious all over the Santa Fe. The headlights are nice and sleek. They are complemented by a nice sculpted bonnet on top, this shiny stripe under them, and this lovely grille. This section that looks like it hosts fog lights is nice as well, and the front kind of gives off a bit of an off-roader feel. But don't get carried away, it's just for show. As for the fog lights, that part is actually where the headlights are located. The side silhouette gives a very practical rearmost feel. I love this. I know some people prefer sloping rooflines and coupe-ish SUVs, and look, I'll admit, they can look nice, but this looks both rugged and practical, and I think Santa Fe buyers will really appreciate that. There are 2 engines to choose from. The 2.2 turbo diesel is still available, and it gives 147 kilowatts of power and 440 newton meters of torque for the familiar low-down diesel push and capability. It's also combined with an 8-speed automatic and H-track all-wheel drive system. The one I have here is a 3.5 litre V6 with 202 kilowatts of power and 336 newton meters of torque, and it is a noticeable step up from the 2.4 petrol available previously. It's also paired with an 8-speed auto. But cars with this engine can only be front-wheel drive. It officially consumes 10.6 litres per 100 kilometres, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that. While this is expectedly optimistic, actual fuel consumption was about 1 or 2 litres up. Not bad for a 7-seater SUV with a big V6. This engine. No more 2.4 litre naturally aspirated asthma breather previously found in the Santa Fe. No, this one is a lot more potent. It pulls with ease, the gearbox reacts well, and it really inspires confidence. Being naturally aspirated, you do need to push a bit harder if you want to experience those top power figures, but this car never feels underpowered. But that is only when you're driving in a straight line. The 3.5 V6 petrol is available only as a front-wheel drive car, and that is a bit disappointing. I think it would have to be one of the best SUVs in this price range in terms of driving, if this engine and gearbox were paired with the all-wheel drive. This also means its only claim to any vague kind of off-road ability comes from the increased ground clearance. The all-wheel drive version with the 2.2 litre diesel has different driving modes, among other things, that decide how much power is sent to the rear wheels. It's also got centre diff lock. I know that market trends say otherwise, and I know that most people will use this car on the road, shuttling kids to school or sport or whatever, but I just don't like the idea of SUVs being front-wheel drive only. Maybe it'll grow on me, but I just don't see the purpose, unless you really like that elevated driving position. So, it's front-wheel drive only, and it's got that 3.5 V6 petrol. It's smooth and quiet, the gearbox complements the engine perfectly, it pulls with ease, and it's a relaxed motorway cruiser. This is where the front-wheel drive issue, reasonably speaking, becomes irrelevant, and this will be even more important when I tell you about one cool feature on the inside. In terms of handling, it's exactly what you'd expect. I mean, it doesn't wallow around corners when you drive, making everyone seasick. It's reasonably composed, but you can't get past basic physics. I find it engaging to drive. There are 4 drive modes called Comfort, Eco, Sport and Smart. The first 3 are fairly self-explanatory, while Smart is designed to try and read your driving conditions from your driving input and choose the best mode for you. Hyundai interiors have been improving as well, and this latest one looks nice. It's well laid out, feels solid and upmarket. The very top section of the dashboard connects nicely with the design of the doors, and it's got this nice screen in the middle too, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Instrument cluster has a nice placement, it's easy to read and it's modern. Heads-up display is just perfect, air vents are sleek and the central console is wide and accommodating. All of the controls are in this small section, and although it can seem crowded and confusing, they're actually super intuitive and really easy to use. Like, it literally takes minutes to get familiar. However, make sure the look doesn't give you the wrong impression. While the materials are generally pretty good, I mean there's loads of leather and this nice stitching on the dashboard, there are also less plush plastics on doors and around the climate control dials. But honestly, nothing too bad. I'm just saying this to make sure that this car isn't confused with some of the more upmarket, higher end models, which of course come at a very different price point. This being said, build quality is on par. The entire interior feels really solid, and throughout this week I actually couldn't find a weak or flimsy spot. It feels really well made, and I'm a bit sorry that they didn't fix those small plasticky bits just to take this car up a notch. I mean, it's such an easy fix. The 8-inch screen in this trim is very well polished, although the interface could be a bit more modern. Still, that's just the looks. In terms of practicality, it's great. You get a reversing camera, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, satellite navigation, and all the most common bells and whistles. There are loads of adjustments both in the seat and the steering wheel. Also, these seats are incredibly supportive. In terms of cabin storage, there is loads. This front passenger shelf is becoming quite commonplace in Hyundais, and I absolutely love it. It's perfect for a phone. Now, I have quite an awkwardly sized drink bottle. It's larger than normal, and I just wish that they would make this drink cup holder a tiny bit bigger. But I must say, it fits better in this Hyundai than most other cars, so that's a win. There's a small space behind the gear lever, a decently sized bin under the armrest, and of course, a glove box, cup holders and door bins. Stepping into the back, actually, I just want to point out how easy it is to step into the back. Look how big this opening is. Parents of small children will appreciate how much of a perk that is when they're installing their car seat. Child's car seat, of course, let alone their child. I mean, I literally have to just kind of hoik my child into the back in my Nissan Qashqai and hope for the best. Another thing us parents will like is this button here next to the power window controls for the driver. Press it and it overrides controls for the doors and windows so your kids can't open them. Similarly, legroom and headroom are great and the rear seats slide and recline. If you don't think things could get any better, well, the floor is completely flat. But look at this. Sit in the rear seat on the left and you get the kind of comfort that I've only ever really seen in a Mercedes S-Class. So you sit in the left rear passenger seat and you slide the seat all the way back and you recline it all the way as well, and you have loads of space. I mean, you're almost lying here. So why stay at almost? Using these buttons on the side of the front passenger seat, you can push the seat forwards and have bed-like comfort. Now remember that relaxed motorway cruising I mentioned while I was driving? Add to that this backseat perfection and you get unparalleled driving comfort. Want even more? There are 2 USB charging points in the back and also a full-size power socket so you can lie while travelling and charge your laptop. This car also has a third row of seats. Getting in is not the easiest thing for adults, but it's okay for this class. However, this can be done only on the left side. If you want to get in on the right, you have to force the seat backs and climb over them. Weird. Once inside, it's bearable for a short distance, especially if the middle row is pushed forward, which in this case it is, but you are sitting very low, so the knee angle is a little uncomfortable. Still, the space is pretty good for this class. Headroom is at the limit for adults. Now watch this, the boot opens up as you approach it, like immediately. None of that awkward river dancing you usually have to do while you wait for your boot. Once it opens, there is actually some space for cargo. What I especially like is that it's large enough to take at least one smaller suitcase, but the volume is just 130 litres with all 7 seats up. Now take a look at this. I love it. You know how once you take your load cover off, you're just never quite sure what to do with it? You're just left with that awkward pole that doesn't really fit anywhere? Not Hyundai. Oh, look! They've created a little hidey hole. It's perfect. The load cover actually fits perfectly under the small boot floor behind the third row of seats. I love it. If you do want to utilise the third row, there isn't any electric help, but it's super easy. You just pull on this to bring it up and then pull it back and push it down to fold it flat. You get a very nice space, completely flat and easy to use. Its capacity is 547 litres. If you want to fold the second row, you just push these buttons here. Look, it's not completely flat, but the angle is very small, so it's nearly perfect.
In this setup, the capacity increases to 1,625 litres.
Another good point is there is no load lip, so taking out the cargo is made easier.
The Santa Fe comes with 6 airbags, electronic stability control, ABS, EBD, downhill brake control, hill start assist, traction control, vehicle stability management, rear view camera, rear park assist, dusk sensing headlights, LED DRLs, blind spot collision avoidance, driver attention warning, forward collision avoidance system, lane keep assist, rear cross traffic alert, smart cruise control and more.
But what I should point out is that all these features are available on the entry-level trim.
In terms of safety, a step up to Elite gives you advanced rear occupant alert system, safe exit assist, front park assist, smart key and push button start and rain sensors. Step up to the Highlander and safety features include 360 camera and advanced smart park assist. The V6 powered variants actually start from just $43,000 manufacturer's listed price. The one I have here has a price of just over $51,000 and it is actually a very nice offer.
And this brings me back to Simone's recent comparison video of the most affordable electric cars, and the entry level for that was $50,000. And that was for something like a Clio with an electric motor. But this Santa Fe, well, with the exception of the electric motor of course, this here offers you a lot more bang for your buck.
It also comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and roadside assist for 12 months, 1,500 kilometre complimentary first service and a dedicated customer care centre.
So, how good is it? Well, in terms of price range and class, it is up there with the best offers, if not the best. It is packed with features, spacious, comfortable, it has this great engine, and it looks modern.
While I prefer to drive when going on long trips, I don't think I would actually mind being in that rear left seat on this one.
Hyundai have once again made a step up with the latest version of this Santa Fe. And despite my distaste for front-wheel drives, I have to say, this is one amazing machine. Thank you so much for watching Cartell TV. We truly do appreciate the support of our fans. It's been a strange year, hasn't it? But I'll tell you what is going to make you feel infinitely better. Having our videos delivered straight to your inbox the minute that they are hot onto YouTube. So subscribe, like us on Instagram and Facebook if you haven't already, and let us know what car you would love to see next. See ya.